You know what used to just make me so frustrated? I could not understand why I had such a hard time after I retired. And everyone around me seemed to just be reveling in their newfound freedom. And yeah, I started with the honeymoon period, but through a chain of events, I ended up just smack in the middle of the messiest of middles. And I've talked about that in other videos and some things that helped. But what I want to talk about today is the distinct difference between why someone or how someone can have such a glorious experience with retirement, not miss a beat, continue on about their way, or have a relatively easy time kind of coming through and deciphering what their next chapter is going to be and moving through it. And then others like me who just flounder and have the hardest time. And I believe it's the difference between experiencing a life transition and a life transformation. And a life transition is, we have so many of them throughout our lifetime. We have graduation from high school, graduation from college, getting our first real job, a big promotion, getting married, getting divorced, having kids, a serious illness, yes, and retirement. And for some people, retirement is another life transition. And that's not to minimize any of this, making a life transition less than life transformation. It's just very different. A transition is linear. There's a distinct before and a distinct after. And for me, it doesn't change really the decision-making process of how you go about living your life, how you go about making decisions. You've got a spouse to consider, you've got children, you've got community responsibilities. You know, all of this goes into the structure, your decision-making structure. And that doesn't really change from one life transition to another. A couple of things may drop off, a couple of things may be added, but the structure basically remains the same. And one of you, a Painterly Home, left me a comment. I wish you guys would leave your name. I so enjoy communicating with you, talking with you back and forth. So thank you for leaving all the feedback that you have. But a Painterly Home left me a comment that I'd like to share with you because it really crystallized for me the difference between a life transition and a life transformation, and this structure that you have of you making decisions on your life, how you will live your life. And so let me pull this up so I don't misquote her. But a Painterly Home says, over the course of 7 decades, I have reinvented myself many times. But this is different. This is deeper, truer. There are less of all the other distractions we navigated in our earlier life. So what struck me, or what stood out to me in that, is the deeper, the truer, and there are less of all the other distractions we navigated in our earlier life. And she uses the word distraction, but I think it's more than distraction. It's not negative, it's not insignificant. I think it's all of the things that we put into our who we are. Right? Who we are process of making a decision. What do we want? What do I want? Well, in order to make a decision, at one point it was, well, all right, I've got a career. Let's lay the requirements of that in there. Let's lay the requirements of mom and dad, helping to care for mom and dad, lay that in there. I don't have kids, so I didn't have that component, but I did have the littlest Pablo. And that was definitely a factor in how I lived and what decisions I made. I did not move here to France until Pablo was gone. So, you know, it's all of these, and again, distractions is the word she used. I understand totally. But it's the structure of what we want, how to figure out what we want. It's the structure. And in a life transformation, it's almost like this structure completely unravels. So I didn't have the parents anymore. I didn't have the career anymore. I didn't have the pet anymore. So think about if you are having a tough time and figuring out what it is that you want to do, or the next chapter you want. What do you want? Candidly, I freaking didn't know how I didn't know what I wanted, because I didn't know who I was. Like, who was I without all of this? I keep doing this, but you know what I mean? And that took a while, and that took a transformation, a complete, and it's ongoing. This doesn't just happen overnight, but a complete analysis or introspection of values, looking at past patterns and how I got here from there and from there before and before. It's a big, hairy job, and it's a lot of work. And some people don't want to do it. And unfortunately, you can find yourself stuck in the messy middle or very unhappy for a very long time, because in order to truly get out, there's this kind of a process to one extent or another that's required. I mean, you have to figure yourself out. So, life transition, those of you who experience retirement as another transition are extremely fortunate, extremely intelligent, for those of you who kind of predicted the challenge and just kind of, you were able to change your horse as you were running down the road, as opposed to completely falling off one horse into the messy middle and trying to chase down another horse. Don't you love metaphors? But, so that's really the difference between a life transition and a life transformation. And I think retirement, especially for women of our generation, especially those of you who may not have kids or who may not have a spouse, that further takes away that structure of like giving you some structure, right? And identity to hang on to other than just yourself. It's tough. And another thing that I found was very difficult was that I felt so alone. And it's not something that you want to go ask somebody to cocktails and sit there and, talk philosophical about, life transitions, your transformation, and who the hell are you? So I'm starting a community. I'm going to call it the Wayfinder Journey. And it's going to launch in September officially. But I'm starting a beta group because I want to, it's not going to be just something where I'm leading. It's not going to be an online course. It's more of, and if you come from the corporate world, you will know the term mastermind. It's more bringing women together who are of like mind in a similar place, retired, looking for the next chapter, trying to figure out who the hell you are, and just would like a community. Because it's not just me sharing things that have helped me, but it's also you helping each other and coming together and really supporting each other and lifting each other up and sharing what has helped you or questions you have, because we are not alone. You're not alone. So that was long-winded, sorry about that, but I am starting the beta group. We're going to be getting started in April, and there's an information meeting that I've scheduled for March the 18th. And I'm limiting this inaugural little beta group to 8 to 10 women. So if you are interested, and really this is only if you're interested in participating and showing up and joining and becoming part of the group, because I need the input, and I would really like this group to be willing to connect with each other and to give me honest feedback, as well as benefit from the rise of the community. Okay, so, you know, how long does it last? How many meetings will we have? What time, what day? All of that stuff, we're going to be talking about it on March the 18th. So if you are interested, the sign up for the Zoom call on March the 18th is below. Again, if you're really interested and you want to participate, register for the call. If you have any questions, just leave me a comment here, and please leave your name. I really enjoy hearing from you guys. So, thank you. My name is Linnell. This is Navigating the Messy Middle. If you have not already subscribed, I hope you do, and like the video, and thank you for being here. I'll talk to you guys soon.